Wild animals are not the most suitable neighbors for humans, but this doesn't bother many people. Not so long ago, large Russian cities saw a fashion for unusual four-legged pets.
You are my sweetie, yes, my sweet girls. Yes, my little girls, my sweetie. Let's have a massage now. Yes, let's have a massage, shall we? Wait, you're going to fall, of course.
The striped tail and the black and white mask on the muzzle are the identification signs, thanks to which you won't confuse this funny animal with any other. This is a common raccoon. In Russia, we call a raccoon laundry girl. Scientists still haven't found an unequivocal answer to the question, why does the raccoon constantly move its paws, as if it is rinsing something, even if there is no water near it?
Most likely, it is just a natural gift that it looks for something with its paws. And everything that the paws will find edible, it sniffs and tries. What a predator usually does, it sniffs and attacks and eats. The raccoon looks for something, fingers it, sniffs it, and tries to eat it. Most often, this is something inedible that it puts into the mouth. Pebbles, various shells, leaves, roots. Having tried something that is not edible, the raccoon spits it out.
According to one of the versions, it was the neighborhood with the man that turned the raccoon into a tireless laundry girl. The characteristic movements of the paws are the genetically fixed instinct of the hunter who catches prey in water. Perhaps it is water that sharpens the sensitivity of the raccoon's fingers, which helps it to study the trophy better. But since people's houses grew near forests, human food has become quite available for raccoons. The need for hunting has practically disappeared, but the rinsing instinct remained. That's why raccoons are constantly rinsing everything they can find.
Look, girls, who they brought you. What a new toy. Want me to help you open it? Look, oh, see? Rinse, rinse, of course, they haven't washed it.
In the past few years, the wild forest predator has unexpectedly got onto the list of the most popular urban pets. And this isn't some special breed for keeping in-house, but just common raccoons that live in the wild. Only tamed.
Any wild animal has a period of imprints. It's a few days of a certain age when the animal determines for itself what kind of animal it is. And a lot of interesting studies have been done when chickens or ducklings were taken, for example, at a certain age, and they were given to a cat to be raised by it. And in the future, the duckling believed that it was a cat. Yes, that's it. It's the same with raccoons. At a certain moment, if it sees that people are safe, people are nice, it won't be afraid of them in the future. It will love them and perceive them as the same species.
Wild raccoons perceive a human dwelling as a source of food, where one can quietly get into and find something delicious. They are unpretentious about food, and first of all, they study the contents of suburban dumps. Not for nothing are they called kings of garbage bins. But if a raccoon climbed into a house he liked, you can say goodbye to your quiet life.
In Canada, in Mexico, where raccoons' habitats can be found, there are entire teams to rescue raccoons and the teams to save people's houses from raccoons. After all, by nature, a raccoon will prefer to live in a house, and it will be very difficult to drive it out into the street and into the wild.
The raccoon is a pushy animal. It'll consider the house its big hole and will use the property as he pleases. But one thing is, when a raccoon comes into the house as an uninvited guest, and quite another to turn it into an urban pet. Getting along with an adult wild raccoon is almost impossible. Therefore, taming begins right from birth. It is only when a human replaces its raccoon mother can it become a pet.
We need to feed him milk in a bottle. We need to give him a tummy massage. Without it, he cannot go to the toilet and it will die. We need to warm it up. Raccoons don't have a good thermoregulation of the body, and very often they catch a cold or get pneumonia, they get sick heavily or overheat.
Natalia Kaledina has tamed several dozen raccoons. It all began with two pets, who Natalia performed with in the circus arena. Since the time when she took work home, led her fluffy artist to her house, raccoons have forever occupied her living space. The house of the trainer turned into the house of raccoons. They breed fluffy predators and prepare them for adoption into urban families.
We don't give small raccoons away until they are 2.5 or 3 months old, but we really try to give them away at the age of 5 months old. During this time, the raccoon is fully accustomed to food, he's accustomed to independent life, and most importantly, it knows that people are good, that people are his friends.
But before giving a raccoon to a new family, the future owners are offered a brief acquaintance with it. It takes only 30 minutes of communication, and 8 out of 10 people who wanted to take a raccoon for upbringing permanently reject the idea. It only seems from a distance that you can't find a creature cuter than them. But it only takes to find yourself in their company when you begin to understand that they are much more small robbers, unceremonious and tireless, and literally turn your house into chaos in just a few minutes.
The raccoon's behavior is very similar to a human child's behavior of 3 to 5 years old. It's just as naughty, it's just as curious. It also needs a mom. It also likes to cuddle. It also needs toys. It really likes any toys, you've noticed, haven't you?
But even a tamed urban animal retains the instincts of a forest animal. The wild character of the raccoons was experienced by our film crew too. The entire team was tried by the little bandit's teeth. Bites, of course, are not fatal, but for an unprepared person, they are quite painful. But this is not an adult raccoon, just a teenager who isn't angry, but is only playing.
The future owner should be ready for the fact that the raccoon communicates using claws. It's hugging like a child with its hands, only on these hands there are sharp, very sharp claws, and scars will be appearing for sure. You cannot escape them. And when the raccoon has moods, and even a well-behaved child can have moods, the raccoon bites hard, puts his teeth and claws into use. Sometimes you need to visit a first aid center and put the stitches on those wounds.
Why are raccoons so attractive? Even with all their hooligan habits, there are still people ready to happily give them square meters in their city apartments. It turns out that having a raccoon in a house is like raising a child. The animal, for a wild animal, has quite a high intellect and is very amenable to learning.
Raccoon is trained like a 5-year-old. You show what you need to do and suggest doing this to a raccoon, and maybe not at the first attempt, but he will do it from, say, the 20th time. He will repeat after you. Of all animals, it is only the primates who have the ability to repeat after someone, no one else, and the raccoons. And we speak words of praise and give a delicious treat to the raccoon for this. The raccoon begins to repeat this action with great perseverance, demanding more delicious food. I've understood how to control a human. That's what I should do.
When zoologists studied the intellectual abilities of raccoons, they discovered that these animals could open 11 out of 13 complex locks. If the locks were interchanged, the raccoons easily recalled how each of them unlocked. Scientists found out that the raccoon uses abstract thinking, remembers the algorithm of actions, and stores it in its memory for 3 years. The only thing that raccoons categorically refuse to perform is the order, "You mustn't." There are no prohibitions for them. A raccoon is capable of carrying a cunning plan for a long time. One day he'll catch the moment when he isn't controlled, and he'll certainly do what he is forbidden to.
If a dog can be trained, it will be a perfect obedient animal. The raccoon is an individual. It is impossible to train it to unconditional submission. It'll never obey. It's closer to the cat. I understand, master, what you want. I'll take this into consideration, and maybe in the near future I'll consider it. It won't perform if it doesn't need it.
And one more thing, no matter how strong and mutual the raccoon's affection for a human is, He'll remain faithful to him until the owner's first mistake. As soon as there is the slightest opportunity to escape to freedom, the raccoon will certainly take advantage of it. Such is the nature of a wild animal. Even the most comfortable conditions in a limited space for it is a prison. And you cannot explain this to a raccoon, that the chances of survival in the concrete jungle are almost zero.